Yes, we're back with the show, and I think something that is really needed in our society, I think it is something that I think is really valuable, are standards. We need standards in which to live by. I think standards are what, makes life predictable. Without standards, you're really living a life that's just full of too many surprises, and it's too unpredictable, and it's not healthy. Anyway, so we're doing a little series on standards, and we have, I think, the right people to talk about standards. Yes, it's the folks from the Antigua and Barbuda Bureau of Standards, and I think in our first series, they're going to tell us about the Antigua and Barbuda the Antigua and Barbuda Bureau of Standards, right? And what it is that they do and what it is that they don't do. And I think here to help us navigate exactly what the Antigua and Barbuda Bureau of Standards is and what it does is the director of the Bureau of Standards, Miss Diane Rodriguez. I hope I got her name right because I've been struggling. Miss Rodriguez, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, great. And did I get your name right by chance?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, yes. So the Antigua and Barbuda Bureau of Standards, what is it exactly that you guys do there to ensure that we are a nation of standards?
Well, Al, it's just as you said, to make sure that at the end of the day, what you expect is what you get. It's of the quality that you expect. So the Bureau was established by the Standards Act 411. We were established to prepare, promote, and maintain standards for goods, services, products, and processes. However, since then, in 2017, the Act has been revised, and rather than just standards alone, we deal now with standards, technical regulations, and conformity assessment, which is just bringing the work that we do now in line with the World Trade Organization Technical Barriers to Trade Agreement. And the whole thrust of this, again, is to try to ensure that the products and services that you get meet the required standards and specifications.
All right. And what exactly does that mean? Can you give us an example of, how you maintain standards in terms of the products and I think you said services that we get?
Okay, let's look at one very, very tricky issue, and that's the issue of labeling. So one of the things is to have standards for labeling of goods. For instance, we have labeling of food, we have standards for general principles labeling. And what this does is to ensure that you as a consumer, when you go to the supermarket to purchase a product, that there's standard information on that label to allow you to make an informed choice when you're choosing the products that you buy. And one of the key elements of that label is the language on the label. And for Antigua and Barbuda, the language on the main display panel must be English. You can have something else on the back if you want, but the language on the main display panel must be English.
When you say the main display panel, does that, for instance, include ingredients?
Yes, it does include the ingredients.
But the main display...
So the ingredients may not be it may not be the first thing you see on the front, but the information that must be given according to the labeling standard must be in English.
Okay.
So you can take that same information and put it in another language, put it somewhere on the label, but what I see must be in English at some point.
So I guess in terms of, I think you said the main display panel, that would be the labeling that you see on the outside rather than when you get into the product, perhaps.
Yes, as soon as you look on the shelf, that's what you would see.
Okay. Now,
although you may not see ingredients on the front, but it still has to be in English because you have to know what you're eating or drinking.
Right. Okay. Now, I think I have seen instances where you have a product and it's, completely in Spanish or some foreign language. Uh, Now, can folks contact you when they run into products like that?
Most definitely.
Okay.
And that is something we're trying to deal with at the moment, yes.
Okay. So there are such instances where merchants may bring in goods that are improperly labeled, and then you have to look at that. Now,
Yeah.
I know we have, yeah?
Sorry.
Right. Well, I know we have a consumer affairs division, and so that would sound like a consumer issue if you see a product that is improperly labeled. So if a consumer runs into an issue like that, should they call Consumer Affairs? Should they call the Bureau of Standards? Or can they call either one and you just deal with the matter?
They can call either one. You should really call the bureau, but you can call either one. And in most cases, the Consumer Affairs will refer it to us. To the bureau.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you don't just look at products before they get on the shelves to determine, what the standards should be. You actually address consumer issues if those standards are not met.
Yes, and that is the section that's called conformity assessment. So we need to look. It's where you're checking to see that the product meets the requirements of the standard, if you claim that's what it's meeting, or in the case of labeling, it's actually mandatory. So in the case of labeling, it is a technical regulation. So you must adhere to that regulation.
Okay. Now, I've heard that many people would refer to you for statistics because you are a standards bureau, so you do keep a lot of data. If people want statistics concerning, certain consumer products or things like that, is your department a place where they can go to get such information?
No, the statistics has its own department. The Bureau of Statistics, and so you would have to go to that department. If you do call us and you're requiring that kind of information, we will direct you accordingly. And I must also say that standards that we implement are all not just the documentary standards like the labeling standards or standards for jams and jellies or for ketchup or anything like that, but we also look at measurement standards, and that's something we will deal with later. But I just wanted to mention that and to say that when we speak about the measurement standards, just as you're saying, don't confuse us with statistics. Do not confuse us with the Met Office either. Because it's metrology for measurement standards and not meteorology.
Yes.
Dealing with climate and the weather.
Yes, because
I
remember when I saw that. Yeah, I remember when I saw that the first time. I did call it meteorology because it's I think a term that I'm accustomed to. So, yeah. But what is it? What is the word exactly? Metrology?
Metrology, yes.
Yeah, and how is that spelt?
Metrology.
Logy. Metrology. Okay, yes. Great. And do people confuse you with other departments? I mean, for the number of years that you've been at the Bureau of Standards, what are some of the strange things that you have heard, or what are some of the strange calls that you might have received? Well,
I'll tell you one is to do with cable TV because our phone number is so close to the top of the cable TV. So that one, and the thing is they call and they start calling before they realize that they have to say, this is not cable TV, this is the Bureau.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But it's similar things like you say, like statistics or sometimes even for labor issues, because in some countries you have labor standards and a Bureau of Labor Standards, so those sorts of things confuse people. Sometimes they come to us, like you say, the statistics, and also for information on trade as well, and then there again we direct them to the Ministry of Trade.
Do they ever confuse you for the Better Business Bureau?
I haven't had that one, but I wouldn't doubt that maybe somebody else in the office may have had that
Okay.
sort of call.
All right.
And well, the most common one would be consumer affairs, but as you say, there's a fine line there's an overlap between what they do and what we do. So it's consumer affairs to some extent. But we're mostly more in the realm of a business support organization. So we provide information that helps businesses enhance their business, enhance their products and services. We help them improve the competitiveness of your product, because of course, if you have your products on the shelf and the label doesn't look too nice, or it doesn't have the information, the product next to you is going to get, chosen more frequently than yours. And also, if a lot of these things are not in place, you're not going to be able to, whereas you might access the local markets, you may not be able to access markets outside of the borders.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Rodriguez. I don't know why I have such a problem with that name. Rodriguez, correct?
Yes.
Rodriguez. Okay, great. Yes, thanks again. And of course, we're going to be having more conversations about the Antigua and Barbuda Bureau of Standards and, exactly what you do and how you can help to assist to, have a society that's more standards based. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much for having us, and thank you for the opportunity to allow us to promote the Bureau in the series.